Good morning, everyone. Ryan Tonking coming to you live from the black room here at T3. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Bright and early here, I was going over some swing trades and taking a look at the market, and I want to do an update on the long-term trend of the market, what my take is, what I'm kind of looking for. And I did a video a couple weeks ago about how I thought the market was transitioning. It turned out that it did not transition. And so what I'm kind of looking at now, and basically two scenarios that could set up going forwards. And I wanted to talk about what I'm kind of looking for short term and how I'm preparing to take advantage of if one of those two scenarios takes place. Okay, so we're going to cover the Qs, SPY, and IWM. Those are the three indexes that I use to gauge the market. Primarily the Qs and the SPY, but I do look at the IWM a little bit also. Okay, so let's jump in here. So this is the monthly chart. Hopefully, I have a different chart here that I'm broadcasting. So hopefully this isn't too small. I can probably make this a little bit bigger, but this is the monthly chart here on the Qs, right? So we can see that this is very bullish, and actually let me take this off, and we're retesting this prior support here. Okay, so what I'm looking at is the whether or not this uptrend is going to hold here, right? Retesting this prior support. Let's take a look at the SPY here on the monthly as well, and same thing, right? Retesting this prior support, and the IWM has pulled back a little bit more, and we've also shown a little bit more weakness, but retesting the major support back here, right, where we get this base, we get this minor pivot here, and we're retesting this area of support. So what I'm looking at is whether or not this is going to hold and this monthly uptrend is going to continue or not. All right. All right. So let's start with the SPY. Okay. Let's go to the daily chart, and I'll make this a little bit bigger here. Okay, so here's the daily chart. So we've had a lot of volatility come in here, and I think it's no surprise the volatility came in. We were in a nice daily uptrend here, right? And we talked about this at the time. Nice daily uptrend here. And then all of a sudden, what happened here? We broke this significant pivot, right? So as soon as we broke this significant pivot, a whole bunch of volatility stepped in, and we continued lower and pulled back on the larger time frames, weekly and monthly chart. Okay, so what we were talking about a couple weeks ago was I was looking at this possible area where we got this gap down with no follow through as a possible area that the market could transition here, right? We did get a move up after that, but since then we erased that move. Okay, so what I'm looking at short term here is we're in this sideways consolidation here. All right, so we have areas of resistance here that we've retested 3 times. We've had areas of support that we're retesting the 3rd time here. All right, so we're kind of in this range, and which is pretty clear. We do have a couple tails here poking through, but I think that support lives somewhere in this area. It's not an exact penny that it lives. And we had this sell-off that started with a wide range bar. We had this gap down that got bought, that immediately got erased here, and we broke through this bottoming tail a little bit, and then we're starting to get a reaction. And in fact, we're actually getting, let's see, we're at on the SPY here 267.50. So wow, we're actually almost clearing yesterday's high here, which is a possible break of the 60-minute downtrend here, which we were talking about yesterday in the black room. So if we do break this, which we haven't yet, and we'll see what happens when we open. We could just open here, then immediately sell off. But we do have a 60-minute downtrend, as you can see here, and if we break this here, we're going to be failing on the 60-minute sell setup. So the reason why this is important to me is we are once again getting another reaction to support here, where we did originally on this pullback. We retested here, and now this is the 3rd time where we are getting a strong reaction. All right, so the importance for me here to focus on is that we are in a sideways base here. Now, I don't know if this sideways base is going to move up and we're going to get a significantly lower high and then we're going to continue lower and we're going to have a much larger pullback. And I also don't know if this is going to continue higher, base up here, and continue higher. I don't know which one's going to happen. But what I'm waiting for and what I'm preparing for is the event that we do break out of this sideways consolidation here. And the two scenarios I'm looking for are, if we're going to move lower, I'm looking for us to spend a lot more time down at the lows here, whether this looks something like this and we continue lower, that'll be very bearish, or whether we just come down and we just base here and continue lower. I'm looking for us to spend a lot more time basing at one of the ends of this range here, okay? So if the market, I think that if the market continues to pull back on the larger time frames, weekly and monthly chart, how I'm looking to take advantage of that is if we spend more time down at the bottom of this range here, showing an increase in bearishness, okay? Because so far we're just spending 1 or 2 days down here, okay? So you can see that these retests consists of one or 2 days here. All right, now in the event that this weekly area does hold and we continue higher, the weekly and monthly chart do continue higher, I'm looking for us to come up here. Well, most likely not that steep, but I'm looking for us to come up to this resistance area and then base, maybe get a little bit of a reaction, some sort of base here, and then continue higher, right? Moving average will start to come underneath price, and then we'll have this nice rounding bottom here. Okay, so these are the two events that I'm looking for. I've been getting, a couple people have asked me, my take on the market over the next couple of days, and I really don't have a strong bias because we're inside of this range. So I need us to resolve this range. I don't know if this is an igniting move lower and we're in a pause and it's going to refresh and continue lower. And I also don't know whether we are in a stage 1 and then we're going to enter into a transition A and we're going to continue higher here. I don't know which event is going to take place, but that what I wanted to come on and do this video for is, one, if I'm going to play the market in the next couple of days, I need to be aware that I am in a sideways base, and so I need to expect choppy trading. All right? And 2, the patterns that I'm looking for to take advantage of the next move that is going to resolve this consolidation area. Okay? So real quick, if we look at the Qs here also, I just got a couple minutes here before I get ready for the open. So the Qs are it's a little bit sloppier of a base here. All right? In fact, actually it's probably too small. The Qs are in a all-out downtrend here. All right, so if I were to draw lines here, the Qs have lower highs, lower lows, and we're starting to get a reaction here. So the Qs are in an all-out downtrend, where the SPY is in a sideways base. All right, so a little bit more weakness on the Qs. I will note that we are kind of starting to slow in momentum in this downtrend. So we are still in a daily downtrend, but the daily downtrend is starting to slow in momentum. Okay, the Qs are gapping up to, okay, so Qs are clearing this bar's high, right? 166, yeah, Qs are clearing this bar's high. So it looks like we may be trying to set a higher low here. All right. Now, again, we're in a kind of a sloppy downtrend here. So this is really sloppy. It's tough for me to play in this area. It looks like the Qs were going to create a higher low here too also, right? And then we created a new low. All right, so it's just going to be some sloppy trading, I think, in the short term until we resolve this area. All right, IWM on the daily chart. So IWM did peak below, did peak below this support a little bit more significantly, but same thing. Where's the IWM gapping here to 145.20? Okay, so definitely not as strong. So 145.20 gapping up here. All right. So we're trying to hold this area, but again, still in a downtrend here. All right. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if the market is going to resolve this area. I did really like this setup here on the Qs or on the IWM, right? And did not have any follow through, right? Really liked this setup. Just was wrong, right? Didn't have any follow through here. We came down, made new lows, and it looks like we're going to hold this area. The IWM should really hold this low here if we're going to hold this weekly and monthly uptrend here. Let's pull out the weekly chart, because if not, should really hold this area. If not, we're starting to carve too deep into this support here, and just doesn't look very healthy at all. All right. So I think the IWM should hold this area, but again, I'm gonna have to wait and see what happens. So I think that we have some. We will get some nice moves, I think, but it's going to be in the context of a range as far as the market. Honestly, it could be the next couple of weeks. All right, but I just wanted to outline the SPY is the clearest to see that we do have this range, and I'm waiting for this to resolve. It doesn't mean that we can't get nice moves like this and get a lot of day trading opportunities where we get a nice market trend, like on a day like this or a day like this, right? But as far as playing swings and stuff, because that's what I was looking at, it's really tough for me to play. Now, I would rather play swing long as we're creating this pivot here, but as far as holding some long-term swing trades, it's a really tough time for me to do that until the market resolves this area. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to jump off here, get ready for the open. If you're interested in day trading or playing gaps or climactics or power trend, stuff like that, come check us out in the black room. But I'm going to jump off and get ready in the room here. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.